So, whoops, I forgot to get the picture up. So when we left off yesterday, Henry had rushed home to get some talcum powder, kind of like a baby powder, from his mom's bathroom to help make Ribsy white again because Ribsy had gotten dirty. So he was going to put powder on his white parts to make him even whiter. And then when Henry went to do that, he realized the powder was pink. And Ribsy was still kind of wet, kind of damp, they said, from his bath. And the powder wouldn't come off of him. So now Henry has a pink dog that he's entering in this contest. Henry was horrified. He could scarcely believe what he saw. The talcum powder wasn't white, it was pink. Who ever heard of a dog with pink spots? Quickly he tried to brush the powder off, but Ribsy was still damp and the powder didn't brush off. Henry decided to make all Ribsy's white parts pink so they would match. Maybe in the bright sunshine the judges wouldn't notice. He sprinkled powder on Ribsy's white ear and left hind paw. He even sprinkled some of his white tail. Yes, Ribsy did look better with all his light parts matching. Maybe the judges would wear dark glasses. Maud finished her act and the children came back to the rings with their dogs. "Hey, look at that pink dog," a boy exclaimed. "I've never heard of a pink dog," a girl said. "What kind is he?" "He is a mixed breed," said Henry. He put the talcum powder can in his pocket and decided not to say anything about it. Maybe the others would think he had some rare breed of dog. A man stood in the center of the ring. Henry noticed that he was not wearing dark glasses. "All right," the man called. "Bring your dogs into the ring and march them around in single file." "Come on, Ribsy, they're going to start judging. You better behave yourself." Henry led him by the clothesline into the ring. The children walked their dogs around in a circle. Ribsy's long rope tangled with the other dogs' leashes. Finally, the judge directed them to stop. "Now, get your dogs ready," he ordered. Henry didn't know what he meant, so he watched the others. Some of them knelt by their dogs and made them stand still and look ahead. Oh, that must be what the judge meant. Henry knelt beside Ribsy. Ribsy sat down. He opened his mouth and let his long pink tongue hang out. He was thirsty. "Come on, Ribs, stand up," begged Henry. "Be a good dog." Ribsy began to pant. "Come on, get up." Ribsy lay down on the grass and panted harder. Henry pulled and tugged. He looked over his shoulder at the judge. The judge was looking at the ears and teeth of a dog that was standing properly. Then he ran his hands over the dog. The dog didn't move. "Come on, Ribsy," begged Henry. "It'll be our turn pretty soon." Ribsy closed his eyes. "I know you're thirsty. I'll get you a drink of water just as soon as I can." The loudspeaker made an announcement. "Will the Boy Scouts please take pans of water to each ring?" Henry was relieved to see a Boy Scout coming with water, but when Ribsy's turn came, he sniffed at the pan and refused to drink. "Well, I guess he's just used to his own dishes," explained Henry. "He just doesn't want to use the same pan as the other dogs." "Can't help it," said the Boy Scout. "It's the only one I have." Ribsy continued to pant. At last the judge came to Henry. "Well, well, a pink dog," he exclaimed. "Yes, sir," said Henry. It was lucky his own green hair had grown out so it could be cut off. A green-haired boy and a pale pink dog would have looked funny. "Come on, son, stand him up." Henry boosted Ribsy to his feet. Ribsy tried to sit down again, but Henry held him up behind the tail. The judge looked over his ears and teeth. Then he ran his hands over him. He looked at his fingers afterwards. They were pink. He said. "So tomorrow we'll have to find out what happens. I have a feeling that it's not going to be good for Ribsy because when the judge was petting Ribsy and checking his fur and his teeth and his ears, when the judge pulled his hands away, they were pink. So he knows that the pink isn't real, that it's some sort of powder. So we'll see what happens to Ribsy tomorrow."